Good afternoon. I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Oklahoma City Water Utilities Trust. First order of business is to approve the minutes of the October 2017 meeting, and I'd recognize the motion to that effect.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. We'll vote. Approved. We have a consent docket. Would recognize a motion to the effect of approving the consent docket.
Second.
Are there any questions regarding any of the items? Seeing none, it's been moved and seconded. We'll vote. Approved. We have one item in the concurrence docket.
Move the item.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions? Seeing none, we'll vote. Approved. We have items for individual consideration. First, being asked to receive the application from Sienna Partners, LLC, Project WR0051, oversized water main extension to serve Sienna Addition Phase 2 under Policy A1 procedures, Southwest 29th Street and Cemetery Road. Estimated purchase price $37,344.
Move the item.
Been moved. Is there a second? Moved and seconded. Are there any questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll vote. Approved. Next item is to receive application Reno 260 LLC, Project WR0054, oversized water main extension to serve Ashton Court Phase 1 under Policy A1 procedures, north of Southwest 29th Street and west of Sarah Road. Estimated purchase price $9,912. Is there a motion to approve? It's been moved and seconded. Any questions? We'll vote. Approved. Next item has two parts. Number C1, presentation on the process flow evaluation system presentation on process flow evaluation and system integration, and a request for proposals.
Mr. Chairman, Josh Morgan is here from our technology group to give you a presentation on that item.
Very good.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, trustees.
Good afternoon.
So, like you said, we've got a short presentation to go over regarding our business process flows assessment and system integration initiative that we've got coming up. So as you'll see, this is really a rather beneficial project that is, we've got this far working with several other departments as we'll go through. It really does pose a lot of good benefit to the city as a whole. So the purpose of this initiative is to solicit professional services to aid in both optimizing the city's utilities business processes as well as advancing the utilization of our business systems. So in English, the goal here is to take a look at what we do as an organization and help streamline that. And there really is the two parts to that. So one is the business processes. How do our employees actually do the work that they do? But then in coordination with that, technology is a huge piece of everything today. So how can we better utilize the pieces of technology that we actually have? So it really does take evaluation of both of those aspects before we're able to truly streamline and see the benefit. And then the whole intent of this whole initiative is right there, just to streamline the city's utilities operations, resulting in better customer service. That's the end game. So in order to serve the citizens of Oklahoma City today on a daily basis, the Utilities Department alone utilizes hundreds of different business processes, 30-plus different work groups, so from line maintenance, customer service, solid waste, all the different work groups we have, and then over 20 different business systems. So business systems, the IT applications that we utilize to perform various functions, over 20 of those that we use in various work groups throughout the day. And the hard part is most of these processes still today rely on paper data transfers. So we'll fill out a request on paper, it gets hand carried out to the field, they complete it in the field, they bring it back sometime in the next couple of days to go to add into the system, and inherently you see the delay and the chance for error in data entry or miscommunication. There's a lot of chances for error in that process. So there are also numerous business processes that start in other departments that the Utilities Department is responsible for. So this initiative actually takes a look at all of those. So whether it's intra-department, so inside the Utilities Department between its divisions or between the work groups under that umbrella, or interdepartmental. So when we talk about the IT department, development services, you can talk about public works, a lot of those other departments are responsible for either the creation or the management of data or of pieces of the process that the Utilities Department essentially ends up utilizing. And then to top it all off, even customer facing. So a lot of what we do obviously is triggered by the customers, whether it be, a request for service, whether it be, service outage, transfer. There's all kinds of different aspects that the customer initiates and the customer expects to understand where we at in the process and things of that nature. This is a lot on this slide right here. This slide really was just intended to show the gravity of what we're talking about. So, when we talk about 20-plus different systems that we use on a daily basis, this is the start of that. When you think about the core functions that we provide, this is a lot of business systems that it takes to get that done. And what you'll see as we go through this is a lot of these are not integrated in any way, shape, or form. So a lot of them may contain some of the same data, may be used by the same people, but they don't talk to each other, which just causes further delay. So how is the citizen really going to be impacted by this? This is one, working with development services, this is one of the key things that they hope to get out of this as well. So citizens today are not able to readily track their requests as it moves through the different work groups inside the city, mainly due to the fact that a lot of this stuff is still a manual process or it's handled in different business systems in the different departments. So one goal of this is just to formulate the means for citizens to keep track of their request as it moves through the process. And inside of each department as well as throughout the process. The development services, like I said, their whole thing was when someone comes in and submits a permit request or some plans, it has to go through several work groups, several departments. And right now, there's no way to track that all the way through. One goal of this is going to be to give some visibility to the citizen to that process. This speaks to that a little bit more. So the study actually starts at the very first. We're going to start with property zoning. So when that plot of land is created, when all those attributes are put in place, we want to be able to streamline the transfer of that information all the way through permitting, construction, metering, maintenance, billing, everything we do. Essentially, the goal is to eliminate the duplication of data entry, to eliminate the need for manual data transfer. The goal is to streamline across the board, not just inside the Utilities Department. Everyone who has an impact on that process that essentially serves the customer, we want to take a look at it. And that, again, this is one where the Development Services Department was strongly on board with wanting to get in on this and help streamline some of that visibility into their processes as well. So some of the expected benefits of this, so reduce review times for plans and permits. So again, when the work group that reviews those consists of 3 or 4 different work groups, and it's a manual paper transfer to be able to do that, there's inherent delays in that. Simplified service initiation processes, if you're wanting to get more trash carts, if you're wanting to turn on your water service, transfer your water service, things like that. Increased transparency into work tasks. So again, as we talked with the other departments, that's what they kept coming back to us with. There's no visibility for the citizens into how they're being served, and they all want to try to meet that goal. Increased accuracy in utility account creation. So when the data is created, all those options will be right there with it, and it'll just move all the way through without the possibility to miss something or to, incorrect data entry, things of that nature. Again, I've got this in here 2 or 3 times, so real-time visibility into where the citizens' requests are at in the process of being approved. I don't exaggerate when I say every department we talked to wanted that in here. Streamline processing of requests. You get rid of some of the manual paper transfer, you're able to start streamlining it a little better and get rid of the data entry problems. Decreased effort required for city staff to complete the requests. So it gets back to if we have a manual paper that we write something down on, someone carries it out to the field, carries it back. Again, inherently there's delays, papers can get lost. It's not inherent to productive functionality to do it the way we're doing it. And then real-time access to accurate information by city staff. A perfect example of this is if we've got crews in the field that are working on someone's service. Right now, that service record may not be updated for a couple of days. So when the citizen calls in, it's hard for them to really understand, our customer service reps that answer the phone, they don't know what happened. One goal of this is real-time updating. So if we've got a customer service who is impacted and we fix it within the next 30 minutes or in a timely manner, when they call in, we will have records of, oh, yeah, we were out there, we fixed it, we did this to it. Again, the goal is to provide better customer service, which means supplying the information they need in a timely manner. So then we get to how are we going to do this. So again, the goal of this request is to solicit for professional services for someone to come in and do a few things for us. Task one is going to be business process assessments. So in order to truly take a look at how to streamline what we do today, we have to have someone come in and actually help us document what we do today. And thinking through the fact that it starts in other departments, that's where it gets huge, because each department, each work group, they may be really good at knowing what they do. They know their piece, and they're really good at their piece. But when you look at it across a whole, something that may start in one division in one department and transfers through 2 or 3 departments, it's hard to keep that in line all the way through. So the first step is just to have someone come in and help us document what we do today. Based upon that documentation of what we do today, they're going to come back with some business process recommendations. So using their expertise, after they've evaluated what we do, they're going to come back and say, based upon what you have in place, we think you should make these changes. We will take those changes into account. Really, those changes is kind of where, that's where the rubber meets the road, because that's where the list of initiatives is created. We may not do everything they want. We will bring that essentially back to the steering committee, and depending on the gravity of it, back to the trust for decision on what we need to do moving forward. So based upon the initiatives that are funded out of that, then we move forward with them evaluating how do we get there. So if you think back to the 20 different applications that we have a substantial foundation in place today. It's very likely that we can make drastic improvements in our customer service level just by possibly enhancing what we have in place. That's what Task 2 does. Task 2 has them evaluate what we have in place today against the approved initiatives, and then perform like a gap analysis that essentially tells us, you make a few enhancements here, a few enhancements here, and you can get this kind of benefit. Not everywhere are we going to have to do a substantial improvement to be able to gain huge benefits. From there, we will ask for them to help us go ahead and facilitate all of that. So based upon the approved initiatives, based upon the design, the gap analysis that they do, they will help us design the future state, and then the implementation services. So they will help us either, one, create the solicitation documents to bring in another firm to help implement, or if it's as simple as enhancing one of our current solutions, it'll just be a change request possibly with an existing service provider. That level of effort at that point really varies based upon the method that we've chose is best for us moving forward. And then, implementation management, we do expect them to be involved all along the way with change management, with training, with just, and that's the key, is training our staff and making sure that the new business processes are followed. With that, that's what I've got going on. So any questions?
Seeing none, thank
Okay.
you. We are asked to vote on the second half of this number C, request for proposals, process flow evaluation and system integration design and implementation services, and authorize the secretary to advertise. Are there any questions or comments?
I'd move the item.
It's been moved. Is there a second? Second. Moved and seconded. We'll vote. Approved. Are there any items from trustees?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I wanted to thank Chris and Brett for a great presentation, similar to the presentation that was presented to the trust, but a presentation about the capital improvement plan that we're looking at and the fee structure and the adjustment to that fee structure. When you think about a plan that's going to last till potentially 2060 and providing just this great quality water to the citizens of Oklahoma City, it's amazing the thought process and the time and the energy that went into that whole plan. And they did a great job presenting it. It was very clear, very concise, and well received by the City Council.
Thank you. General Manager reports.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Today, we are spending what we predicted, and we are getting the revenues as predicted, so we're in good shape there. All the lakes are full, with the exception of Draper, is about 7.5 feet down, but we are in the process of filling the lake through the winter months, so we're in great shape right now. Second item, we received an award from the Association of Metropolitan Water Agencies. They represent the water utilities throughout the U.S. who serve 100,000, a population of 100,000 or more. So we're going to give you some background on that. It was a very comprehensive application process. So we have a presentation for you there, a short presentation to give you some perspective on this award. Jennifer?
Good afternoon. My name is Jennifer McClintock, and I am the Public Information Manager for the Utilities Department. Thank you very much. We are very thrilled to have received this award, not only because it was the first time that the Oklahoma City Utilities Department actually had an opportunity to apply, but more so because this is an award that was bestowed to us by our peers. The people who evaluated this were other engineers. They were municipal utilities professionals. So it was an opportunity to be reviewed by a company of peers in the utility business. And that's something I believe is extra meaningful because it means that we are on par or exceeding many of the standards that are expected of municipal utilities. And in fact, in many areas, we are leading. I want to provide a very brief overview for you. We don't have a digital presentation so much as just a few key talking points that I'll go over based upon our process. When I came to the department in April, some of the other key staff had already started working on this particular award application. It ended up being 10 specific criteria and areas of interest, and under each of those areas of interest, we were asked very specific questions. Most of the process here involved about how the utility continues to make improvements. They don't want to see a utility that just kind of rests on its laurels, but they want to see how we continually improve ourselves in areas of management, employee enhancement, resiliency, and in our infrastructure as well. Crystal Kowalik, who is here today, as well as Sean Price, one of our engineers, had already gotten a pretty good head start on the application process by the time I was brought in. So I was able to come in, take a look at a lot of the questions, and really start putting many of the pieces together. And the more we got into it, the more we realized that it was a team effort and one that took a lot. The areas of interest that enabled us to tell the story of our success included a utility profile, and in that we gave them a history of the utility and how it relates to city governance. They really wanted to understand how we related to the city of Oklahoma City, both as a department and as a trust. They wanted to hear about leadership, employee development. What do we do to ensure the continuity of our utility in terms of human capital? We understand and we talk a lot about our infrastructure and what our needs are in replacing and making more resilient our infrastructure program. But what about our employees? What do we do to develop them? They wanted to hear about our financial viability, about our infrastructure strategy and performance, about our enterprise resiliency, specifically how we maintain our infrastructure and what our plans are for improvements of process. They wanted to hear about continual improvement management. What do we do across all fronts to ensure that we are evolving? And customer service was also a big part of it, not only in how we serve our customers and the interface, but what we do in terms of technology to provide them easier ways to contact us. They also wanted to hear about community sustainability and environmental conservatism. What are the steps that we take as a department and as a utility in order to ensure the sustainability of our water supply for the immediate needs and also for our long-term sustainability? And our approach was simple. We wanted to lean upon our successes under the council priorities of customer service and public health, while also emphasizing our own core business initiatives. And of course, those very much align with a lot of the areas of interest from the award application, and those included customer service, safety, water supply, system reliability, regulatory compliance, and financial management. A few of the highlights and the things that we spoke about and addressed in our application included an overview of the city's water history, with particular emphasis on the visionary leadership in the 1940s through 60s when we expanded our water footprint beyond just Oklahoma City. But the leaders of the time saw fit and saw the importance of the city as an economic driver in the state and how the need for water played into that. We spoke about the expansion of our water footprint with the addition of Lake Canton and, of course, Atoka, and also spoke at length about the recent Water Unity OK initiative between the City of Oklahoma City, the State of Oklahoma, and the tribes. We also spoke at large about our financial framework and how it came to be with prudent financial management, both in capital spending as well as in developing a variety of blended revenue streams that we were able to achieve AAA bond ratings. That was something that was very important to the peer groups that were evaluating our award. We spoke about enterprise resiliency and how it plays a role in vulnerability assessments, that our emergency response plan and our risk management assessments for our assets, especially our water treatment plants, what we do in weather events, and how we anticipate any other kinds of events that might befall us, and how we are looking at ways to improve that to ensure continuity of service to all of our customers. Another area that was emphasized was customer service. Again, I mentioned technologies, but they also wanted to hear about the mobile workforce that we've implemented out in the fields with our line maintenance, how we can respond to outages more quickly and communicate those outages more quickly to our customers or to our CSR group, so when they get calls coming in, they have a better understanding of what's happening in the field. We also looked at the technology improvements that we've put in place, such as the new OKC Utilities app, so people are able to access their accounts from their smartphones. All of these types of things demonstrated to the group that we were able and willing to invest in continued improvements that keep us on the forefront of utility management. We also highlighted our efforts of Utilities University, and this is an area where we really are leaders. We examined and looked at what our workforce was going to look like over the next 15 to 20 years and realized that there could easily be an intellectual gap when we start seeing a lot of employees retiring out around the same time. Utilities University allows us to start educating those employees who are already a part of the department and teach them not only leadership skills, but enhance their education within the area of utilities operations and supervisory level interest in order for them to be better employees for us. Finally, we also discussed the area about our leadership in the area of community sustainability. We talked about how our wastewater efforts and selling off our wastewater is something that helps to sustain our raw water supply. And so that's an area of need. And finally, we noted the Squeeze Every Drop program, which is something that we're very proud of. And it educates the public and people at large about water conservation efforts and our partnerships with the Oklahoma State University, the Oklahoma City Parks Department, and Oklahoma City Zoo for the conservation gardens that we developed. So all of these different things that they were looking at is how we demonstrate to the community our value, not only in terms of water delivery, but in all of the other areas that we have to offer in water and wastewater utilities. We're already looking for our next application, which I just found out from Brett a few days ago. I thought it was going to be next year, but he informed us we can't apply again until the year 2020. But we've already started compiling a list of things that we are working on currently and will be working on over the next 2 years that we can add to the next application and hopefully win the award again. Any questions? Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I have one more item. Jeff Bolden, the Assistant Director of our Water Quality Group, is here to talk about another award that we won at the Southwest AWWA Conference last week.
All right, so as some of you may know, we hosted the Southwest Sectional this year here in Oklahoma City 2 weeks ago. So the states that competed were Arkansas, Louisiana, and Oklahoma. There was 10 entrants, and Hefner Water Treatment won the Best Tasting Water Award for this year. And so we will be able to compete in the national this year.
Very good.
Go ahead, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you all very much. Guess we need to vote on requests for proposals, process flow evaluation, and system integration design and implementation services, and authorize, oh, I'm sorry, excuse me. We received the gold award. Are there any citizens to be heard? Seeing none, we adjourn.